Thank you, dear Chair Wintergerst, dear Mrs. Sesterly, ladies and gentlemen across the world. It's a real pleasure and an honor to be here today for this special edition of the Munich Cybersecurity Conference. And when I say special, it's special not only because it's taking place due to a format imposed by the current circumstances, but also because we are at the midst of a major geopolitical security crisis that urges us to rethink how to equip our societies and systems to fend off the attacks that may still come with devastating consequences. Look around us. At our direct eastern external border in Belarus, we see an authoritarian regime using human lives to put pressure on our member states and plant the seeds of division in our societies, also using information manipulation to advance its agenda, attacking the West, attacking the European Union, our values, our model of society, everything we stand for as Europeans. And most recently, another neighbor of ours, Ukraine, has been hit by a wave of cyber attacks targeting its ministries and banks, aiming at destabilizing the country with the risk of further escalating the already very tense situation. These two events are not isolated situations. Every day we hear of a new cyber attack or attempted one on our soil, in our neighborhood, in our society. This summer, it was the Irish health system that was paralyzed by a cyber attack. Then a supermarket chain in Sweden. Even the city hall of my hometown, Thessaloniki in Greece. Last month, oil suppliers in Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany were targeted. And last week, a major telecommunications operator in Portugal. We now know that our neighbors and partners are also under attack, and this is not innocent. This is not business as usual. Just look at these attacks. Look at how pervasively they are evolving to reach the heart of our society and of our democracies. They no longer just have economic rationale. These attacks target even more and more sectors and entities that are critical to the functioning of our economy and of our society. And when successful, behind these administrations, oil suppliers and hospitals, it is the lives of our citizens that are at stake. In such an intense geopolitical context, we cannot fail to take this groundswell of threats very seriously. We cannot allow these malicious actors to penetrate our defenses, whether those of our institutions or those of our citizens' daily lives. We cannot allow them to operate in the shadows, to cripple our economies, instill distrust in our institutions, and pit our fellow citizens against each other. What we need to do is to adapt our approach to our security and our means to these protean threats, to move away from traditional silo visions of security, to disseminate security considerations across all our fields of actions and policy, and to mobilize all the means we have at our disposal across the policy board. And this is precisely what we did and how we succeeded in responding to the crisis in Belarus. And this is exactly what we stand for to do with Ukraine should the situation escalate further. I think a key here is to mobilize the full potential of cybersecurity. We need to take cyber out of its tech silo and put it at the core of our security. Cyber is not an issue of industry. It's an issue of society. Because in the world we live in, Before an unfriendly tank crosses a border or a fight jet violates an airspace, it is networks that will have been first tested and attacked. And at the same time, there will have been attempts through internet to convince citizens through various media that they are not safe. And this is what they are doing against the European Union today. And this is why the European Union stands ready to respond. We are now tapping into the immense potential of cybersecurity expertise, knowledge, and information wealth across our 27 member states to build together a capacity to prepare, deter, and respond to cyber and hybrid threats. We will be activating 3 strands of action. First, the legal one, the regulatory one. We have always been at the forefront of providing a clear and advanced legal framework to protect businesses and citizens against such threats. And in face of these new threats, we are taking this legal framework to the next level to make it future-proof. Firstly, by equipping member states with measures to ensure a high level of physical and digital security of our critical entities and infrastructures across a wide spectrum of sectors, from industry to public administration. This is our proposals for a revised Network Information System Directive and for a directive on the resilience of critical entities. Then, by setting high standards for the cyber resilience of our supply chains. ENISA, the EU Agency for Cybersecurity, assessed that attacks on the supply chain have multiplied by 4 last year compared to 2020. And this is why President von der Leyen has announced the forthcoming proposal of a Cyber Resilience Act before the end of this year. This Cyber Resilience Act will serve as to enhance security of ICT products, those products that are most often the loophole through which malicious actors rush to attack us. The second strand of action is to continuously upgrade not only our legal arsenal, but also our operational capacities to be able to detect incoming threats sufficiently in advance, but also, when these occur, to be able to provide clear and robust responses. This is why we are investing substantially in cyber defense centers with new equipment for early detection, thus enhancing our EU cyber shield. We are also taking bold steps to bring together the EU cyber capacities across EU bodies and agencies, from the civilian, diplomatic, law enforcement, and cybersecurity communities through the upcoming Joint Cyber Unit to make sure that they exchange timely information and can coordinate responses. Finally, the third and vital aspect when it comes to strengthening our operational capacities is ensuring that we have sufficient people in Europe, people with the skills to master cybersecurity tools and to develop disruptive breakthrough technologies for our cybersecurity. Today, unfortunately, Europe is short of the cybersecurity professionals we need. And as Vice President responsible for coordinating EU work both for the areas of security and the areas of skills, I see the urgent need to boost the number of specialists in cybersecurity across our Union. For this reason, I call on all of you to join forces and make concrete pledges to train professionals and cybersecurity skills. Time is of the essence. The Commission stands ready to support your ambitions and commitments through the Pact for Skills that we launched a year ago, and I will, next year, come here to the Munich Security Conference with results. This is a complete promise, a pledge that I take the opportunity to deliver because this is urgently needed. The emerging cyber threat landscape is a global threat. No one is immune, and it challenges the basic principles on which the multilateral order has been built. For these reasons, we need a common response, and we need to join forces with like-minded partners across the world. We now need to bring this technical cyber cooperation to the political level. And these global rules of the games need, at the same time, operational support to our friends, allies, and neighbors so that they can themselves build their own resilience when facing threats. In short, we need to pool our political, economic, and technological resources to create a ring of resilience together, both within the Union and around the Union. Let me finish, dear ladies and gentlemen, participants, by saying that what is at stake in the midst of the geopolitical crisis we're going through is not simply economic or territorial gain, but our principles, our values, our model of society, the foundations of our democracy. And beyond words, we need actions to face and respond, to turn the tide, to quote the title of this year's Munich Security Report. Yes, clouds are drifting fast, that is true, but let's not forget that every one of them has a silver lining, and we need to join forces to address together these challenges. Thank you again.